I wanted to talk about nationally. Which players and or teams should we look out for?
Wow. Well, you're tough on me here. I'm trying to relax. Holiday at UCLA, just seeing a little bit of him. He's a kid that they're all.
He had a tough McDonald's game.
Well, you know what? See, those All-Star games, who the heck knows, And I haven't seen a lot of these kids. They're talking. Size becomes a big thing. Ohio State has got the big kid there, and Mullins, who just saw a little bit of. How about them? They could really lose 3 centers in a row. Oden, Kufus, and this kid.
Lottery picks.
Right,
First round picks.
Yeah, but you're right. Well, yeah, a little late. He was right. I think 20. Well, it doesn't matter, but yeah, a good shooter, and a kid's got a very international type of player, versus Oden, who's more of a good defender, back to the basket kind of a player, right? But again, I like to see how these kids play out and how they perform with their team and how they integrate themselves, how much further they have to grow to become real big time basketball players.
One more question, interested, Tyreke Evans and Memphis. Memphis, it was good for 2 of those kids to come back, actually, Antonio Anderson.
And he came back because I think that kid's got a big upside because he'll play in the league as he can really guard. And none of us watch a game and say, oh, what a great defensive player. We might say, what a great defensive play. But this kid can stop people. And Roberts was not a great defender, but he's a great offensive player. And now with the Nets, is getting some chance to play some minutes. That was a well-rounded team. I mean, it wasn't just Rose at the point. They had some people and some backups. And, the little guard, Tyreke Evans, is another kid now that's more of a combo guard. From what I'm told, not as much a point as Rose, how does he combo with Anderson kind of a thing. So, Calipari will be back at it. I mean, their conference, they dominate. So, he's going to be at least sweet, the 16 and maybe 8. And who knows if the kid's mature.
We were talking about kids that should go to college for at least 2 years. You were just mentioning that. Brandon Jennings, his decision to go to Europe, do you think that can open floodgates eventually for other kids, top-notch prospects out of high school?
I think it's a consideration for kids. How am I basketball-wise? How am I academically? I don't like school at all, which is that is a valid point. Some kids just don't like school, and this is an alternate choice, but. Economically, some kids might do it because they have an emergency at home, and none of us can look down upon that. That to me, we can't. Al McGuire used to say, look at your refrigerator. So we can't see in a refrigerator, we can't see the bills people have. So ultimately, it's usually an academic or an economic decision, and either way, some kids are going to be forced to make a better look at that situation, but I don't think the numbers will be there that it becomes like a national emergency in basketball terms.
Great answer on that, definitely. And want to thank you so much for your time, Mr. Raftery. Honor, and I love when you always go, Syracuse Minuteman.
Syracuse Minuteman. And your pal, Casey McMahon, her dad's, we used to follow us at Seton Hall.
Right, yes.
He didn't send much money to the program, but he used to follow us.
Your coaching experience, how has that been beneficial in you analyzing the game? And
I think the biggest thing is you can commiserate with somebody who lost, understand how kids feel and how tough that is, and I enjoy a good winner. Where guys understand that their kids were fortunate that night and they handle the success well and, pay homage to the opponent. But I also think you see trends a little bit because you've seen them for you and against you, so your focus is different. And, I think having played a little is as important too because, a lot of this game is individual skills and scene situations and taking advantage of a breakdown, which is when you have the license to get away from the form of the offense. And so I think both of the playing and coaching become a very important aspect of watching a game.
Thank you for your wisdom.
Appreciate it. Enjoyed it. Good luck. Steady as hands in the business. You weren't out last night.